Hello, hello, hello. I am here. A little late, but I'm here. Hey, Candy. Hey, Heavy. How you ladies doing tonight? I'm fine. Welcome, chat, as well. Um, and everybody I can't see. Welcome anyway. Well, uh, I am not. So I'm not sure how long my show gonna be. That's good. Heavy, I miss twitching with you on a regular basis. For some reason, sleep want to come at night now. So I'll be like trying. And then when I wake up, it will be the time that you will be logging off. So I'll be like, you know something? I'm gonna have to take a nap in the daytime so I can come to the show. But tonight I am going to so the plan was to start with the transcripts. That would be great. Because you're the only guys I have to watch movies with. Otherwise, you leave me here to watch these movies and stuff by myself. And yes, there's no winning. Sleep always wins. What did you order to eat, Candy? So of course I was trying to. I had came up with a whole plan to Okay, I was going to do the scan, like you know how you do the phone scan thing. Oh, Wingstop. I have never eaten at Wingstop. I used to when I was doing Uber. I actually used to go there all the time. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back here. But that's because at the time I was doing Uber, I lived like an hour and a half away. So when we finished, it was like, yep, I'm not going back into the area to like have to come because usually when I finish, I try to finish closer, so at least it paid off. But I have to remember, I gotta try them one day. So I was trying to like I was like, oh, do the phone scan thing, right? So I was playing some stuff on my phone and stuff like that, and yeah, I was a guy able to get 6 pictures. Are those the flavors to get? That's what you telling me, Heavy? All right. So when I go, I will know. At least I know what to get, and those are my good flavors too. So that's not even gonna be hard to remember. So oh yeah. So I'm saying so I started to try to do the phone scan. So then I was like, all right, I got 6 pictures, and then it was like, oh, low memory, and I'm like, yo, I cleaned my phone out for this. So we're gonna talk about the one thing because I have no clue why this is part of the case. Maybe somebody else knows. I don't know, but I sure don't know. Because even though when I'm trying to look more into it, like what it's about, and like why is this part of it, and it's called the concordance index. Maybe you guys know why that will be part of a case, but I know when I did my what you call it when I did my research project, we had to use it because I was measuring African Americans and hospice because African American don't utilize hospice as other cultures do. So I was measuring what the the level of African Americans there were that actually participated in hospice programs over all the rest of the nationalities. So, and this is why I'm trying to make it make sense because I know what I've used it for. Now I'm trying to figure out what is it used for in a criminal case. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're dealing with facts, so when you're looking at the concordance index, you really trying to see what's the ratio of this or what's the ratio of that. So I don't see where it comes in a criminal case, but maybe one of you guys maybe might know, and then you can help me understand it because still right now I still don't understand why this was the first because that was the first part of the transcripts. So when I was doing my little gathering my information on it, I kind of got stuck right there because I'm like, why are they using this for a trial and at least a criminal trial? I could see if they was measuring maybe in business law where how many different cases, if they put it together, how many different cases were like for this amount of money or that amount of money. But in criminal law, in order for you to use this in criminal law, they have to be fudging information because it doesn't even fit into the system, honestly, because it's more for a healthcare type thing. You said, well, most times black people don't send our sick and elderly people away. That's true. But because it's like, oh, because we think if we send them away, oh, that means that we're neglecting them and stuff like that. But that's not true either. We don't really be neglecting them. It's like it's all part of self care as well. Like you can take care of your family, but you just got to make sure you have your respite care in place. You can't say, "Oh, I took care of my this or that." Like, if you because you need a break too in order to take care of your family member good. Even if you just need a break to go get your hair done, it all matters. So I don't know. I was gonna give it a little more time because even though it started late, how many times? It's not like I'm waiting for a whole bunch of people to come in, but important people are already here. No, but it's other important people. Don't get it wrong, nobody. I'm sorry. Hold up, let me go so I don't look like I'm talking to myself. Mm, uh, well, that was the right thing, Candy, because chicken take a little while. That takes some effort. You can't be like, oh, I'm gonna fry some chicken and think you're gonna be finished in 45 minutes. You still right there doing it. Yeah, definitely the A. But when people go into hospice, because you don't have to go into hospice and go to a facility. You can go into hospice and stay home. And when you go to hospice and stay home, you do get a home health aide and stuff like that. But and honestly, it be black families, they be like, nope, cousin Barbara is gonna come and they're gonna take care of them because they don't want nobody else in the house. That's how you know it's too many secrets in that house. Because if I need a break, I won't get a break. But yeah. And they be like, "Oh, Barbara can do it," and then she can. If you gonna pay her, she can get the money. Barbara be doing half a job. You rather get somebody in there that's going to take care of your loved one right, and let the family member. If you're a family member, you already a family member. You know what I'm saying? You already in. You don't got to prove nothing. Yep. Go replay. Go replay. All right. So I was telling you guys about the. Oh wait. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. What is the concordance index, right? It's a mathematical metric that assesses how well a model predicts the timing and occurrence of events. It's commonly used to evaluate prognostic models in survival analysis and to assess the performance of algorithms. The C index is calculated using the Harrow's estimator, which determines the likelihood that a model correctly orders two subject scores based on their event times. The C index is only updated at event times and it remains constant between events. Okay, which is what it is because when your child, oh, wait. You said, "Child, I can't take care of my mama. She got seven other children." Right? Like that's one thing my mom always get on me about. She's like, "Oh, I should have had more children because it's I only have you, so that means you're gonna be overworked and stuff like that." But no, I had four children, so I brought in help. Um, so I said she'll be all right. So when I was looking at the okay, I'm gonna ask you: does this sound like something that makes sense to you guys? Like, say, oh, so see, you got help, and then you have children too, so y'all got extra help. And then how many ever children your siblings got? That's you gotta look because you gotta. This is the type of you have to shit like this. Gotta be. We gotta all get together and be like, you know what? No, we family. You can't allow one person to do all the work anyway. So what so far when you looked at this, like why do you think this is something that is relevant to a court case? Like do you guys have any idea like why this would be something of relevance? No. So me either. Because and that's just the thing. And that was me looking it up and you know how it come up first and little AI thing. And that's what it said. So I was like, all right, let me look and see what else is further. So then it says, then it was here's some things to keep in mind about the C index. That's what they call it for short. So that's the nickname. You said, wait, repeat your question. Like, from what I read, can you kind of, because I still don't know, it still doesn't make sense to me why they're using this, right? Because it's something used, it will be used not for one case, it will be something used over the whole criminal system. It's something used on a bigger platform than just for one case, one person. So I'm not really getting why they're using it. Seem like they're spending time doing one thing, and if they use it for what, if they're using it for each individual criminal case, they are manipulating the machine, because the machine is for wider arrangement of sorting out of the of. So if they in that, then that would make sense of. But I still don't understand why they're using it. But I thought maybe somebody else would know. So they say here's some things to keep in mind about the C index. It's often used for models and binary survival outcomes of variables. It can be used to evaluate the performance of a predictive algorithm, such as one that recognizes the presence of a tumor. It's often not clinically meaningful when applied to a survival outcomes, and it has limitations when applied to continuous outcomes, which a court case, each individual court case is a continual outcome until it's over, which is why they can only evaluate it on a larger basis, like over the whole system. So my question was, why is this needed in a trial? And this is the question that I typed in Google. Why is the accordance index used in a criminal trial? Can anyone guess why it says it's used in a criminal trial? No, don't worry. I couldn't guess either. So these are the results. One, after determining if the predictors, he said, no, guess never heard of this. Me either. Um, After determining if predictors of census survival data are significant, a common objective is to measure their predictive strength on a scale that is not sample dependent. A plethora of statistics have been suggested. Some have attempted to transfer the concept of R2 from linear regression and censored data 1 and 2. In this article, we consider to use concordance index for the censored data. The first part of the paper reviews the concordance index for predictors of the census survival data. The second part develops concordance index estimators that are valid when the strength of the predictor becomes diminished with follow-up. Our proposals are compared with classical methods using computer simulators of a breast cancer prognostic biomarker example. Now, one thing, if you guys have noticed, likelihood to do what, no, guess I know what it is. Likelihood to do it again. Say that. What's that question? Did I say that? All right, and that was the one. So, the Corda index was initially developed to estimate the degree to which a randomly chosen observation from one distribute was larger than one chosen independently from another distribution, 3, when T1 and T2 are continuous. Independent random variables with cumulative distribution function F1 and F2, the Concordia index is not a thing. So, what this is all saying, right? I'm trying to figure out what this has to do with the criminal case. Me too, Candy. That's the whole, and this is the first thing they have in there. So, bingo. Yes. The only thing that probably this has to do with is they are looking at races. So the probability of this race committing this kind of crime to that race committing that kind of crime. And this is what, and then if this is what they base it off of, they put in, because I don't know what system they put it in, like, because when I did mine, I put it in SPSS, right? Because it, you put the numbers in and it like really does everything for you, like as long as your numbers are right. But even with, and you use SPSS if you want accurate, that's the most accurate system for statistics. But most people, it's also the most expensive one for the most expensive one for statistics. So with that being said, I doubt if they got SPSS. So they probably sat down and did these numbers or whatever itself. But at the same time, what does it have to do with a criminal case? Because it, the way the numbers is there are, hold on, I didn't even count how many pages. The concordance is so thick that it's 78 pages, right? And it's literally 78 pages of just numbers, codes, and stuff like that. To me, it looks like they probably went in here and any meeting, mighty mo, the codes out of what they was charging my husband with, because none of it makes any sense. Some of the words, it breaks it down to just like so if let me go into P. So it's perceive, perceived. So you know, perceive and perceive, that's going to give you about the same thing, but they counting it twice, so that's going to give you a different number both times. You know what I'm saying? Which makes like this whole thing makes it like fudge. And I'm what I really want to know. And then it's like they put the witnesses' names in there, I guess, of what's the likelihood that they're going to tell the story that we tell them to tell or whatever. But none of this and everything that I said, you see, they talk about medical stuff, right? Because that's where it's usually used at. It's not usually used in a court. Now, that's in other states, at least the 5 states that I've ever lived in, that's where it's been used at. Now, in Pennsylvania, I don't know because I don't know, they come up with their own rules, because it's not, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And um, I literally got a phone call the other day about something, and it literally the phone call was like talking about this part of it. I didn't know what they were talking about at all. And why, like, this was part of it, because they asked me about the transcripts. And then when I went in there to tell them, like, hey, okay, so this is what before I even get to the first day, this is what I got. And then they didn't understand because they are in another state. They didn't understand why that was even a thing. And I said, well, I don't know because this is all that I have for them. But I think, I probably watched too many movies because I was looking at what's that? Medea Goes to Jail. And you remember that one lady lawyer that was fudging stuff to get people and so they could do longer terms and stuff in jail, like faking stuff. So I'm wondering, is this something that they're doing? You know, because that all is random. That was a waste of time. It was a waste of money, and it was a waste of space. With that, they could have got my husband's stuff to somewhere on time. You know what I'm saying? With they wasting their time and space on that. So then we have. So then the next definition, right? Because remember I asked about a criminal cause. I was like, so I wanted to know what it was doing. So when I went down to the next one after those, after I got all of that, it says the concordance index can be thought of as a measure of how well patients are sorted according to an event occurrence. Missing was criminal, and so what? And this is as updated as you can get because that was the thing as of September 11th. I pulled that up today, and that was, and they just updated that September 11th. So therefore, I really understand less. I know that's what I said. I said, Tyler, I said he be really telling us so, but we just got to pick up and take heed to whatever it said. But that's a good thing because I was like, is that immediately I thought about that movie when I saw this. I said, yo, I said, suppose that we find out that they have just been fudging numbers all this time and just thinking like it's okay, fine, and then they're gonna lose half of the people in their little prison system once the truth find out. Probably not, because there's some people in there that's have done stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that's what prison is for. It's for people who've done stuff. But at the same time, I still feel that they do have rights. You can't take their rights away just because you say so or you think it's something. What? I don't know where that little clock came from, and I don't know why. So I I definitely want to. I don't know. I need somebody who actually, maybe I should. I'm gonna reach out to Cassandra or somebody and ask, like, what would this be used? Because I need somebody who actually is in the field to tell me like what's in there. I actually did find a video, and I'm gonna share that one next, and we can maybe from the video we can understand more. Yeah, I am. That's me again. Right. Oh wait. Oh, you know something. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Cause when I thought about reaching out, then I looked up and she was doing a show tonight. So I said, okay, after I'll send her a message or something and say that. Yeah, And honestly, he had more faith in me than I had in myself. Cause I'm like, yeah, I can't, I don't, cause I be like just trying to stay out the way and not have to, because, but this is like, I feel maybe I needed to stop staying out the way. That's probably what God is trying to tell me is that like I'm supposed to be stepping up. Like he gave me different skills and stuff for a reason, and I'm supposed to actually utilize them to do like the right thing. So, and I feel like it's the right thing, because I don't feel like he should be in there at all. Like like I said before, he's no nobody's a perfect individual. Everybody has made mistakes, made their flaws and stuff like that. But this right here, this is not him at all. So I definitely don't want to see him going through this. I really don't like the fact that my children have to go through this and these different emotions and stuff like that. But this is stuff that people in the world don't understand because most people get their rocks off of other people's what other people are going through. And don't and I just want to keep saying I just want this to be out there. Don't get me wrong. I get a life was lost and I am very remorseful about that. However, at the same time I have to think about this life that was lost started this whole thing. The life that was lost, if they didn't make the decisions that they made that night, we would not be where we are today. And that's what life is about, is your decisions. You either gonna make a right decision or you're gonna make the wrong decision. You think about yourself or you think about your family. And then everybody like, oh, he took him away from his kids. No, he took himself away from his kids by starting that whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Because it was either you was going to take my husband kids away from him, or take him and then maybe one of his kids, and or you like if he would have never did any of that, none of we wouldn't even be here today. And he might be walking around here like whatever, whatever. But yeah, it doesn't. That's how I say, Candy. I need somebody to explain it to me because it doesn't make sense. But yeah, I don't want you I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, I don't have no remorse about the life that was lost and these kids that lost their father. I really don't want anybody to think that because I don't feel like that. I am very sorry that this man couldn't get himself together even for his children, you know. And cuz some people they be all reckless all their whole life and then they have kids and they be like, oh, nope, that's over, and that's it. And they like get on a good foot because they want to do right and good for their kids. But that wasn't a choice that he made. And I, I understand choices because I had to make choices. Everybody has to make choices. I tend to think of other people first, but sometimes you get in a situation that you just gotta do what you have to do. And I just don't want because I just feel like people may think like I don't have no remorse about this man's life. And I really do. Because honestly, I like to see everybody win. So I would have preferred to see this man get his life together and be the best father, boyfriend, husband, person in the world that he could be. But that's not what he chose to do. And now because he didn't choose to do that, that has infiltrated into my life. And now my husband is what out of the picture at the moment because a choice, because he could have very well been like, dude, you too much, I can't be around you, you know what I'm saying? And that could have been simple, but he, I guess, I don't know. But I honestly needed to like let people know that I do feel remorseful that this man lost his life and the kids, their father's not here. I definitely do. Please do not think any different than that because I do. But Anybody, even if anybody who knew him watched the show, they gonna say they cannot say that he was not a reckless person. And so I just think that I'm sorry really that it ended like that. And but I still have to think about it. It could have ended another way. It didn't though. And I'm happy that it didn't, but we'll get it together one day. So I believe his time was served. I believe so too, Heavy. Like if they even say like you can't get a new trial, but you gotta have this on your record. I mean, that won't be the end for him because he still have like his talents that we could do, and he could always bring himself back. So that would it wouldn't even hurt. And I kind of think that that's what um that's what they feel as well, like that because he was doing too much. And do I think as a African American family was we I think we were doing more than they really wanted us to be doing too. So I think all part of it was it's a whole extra amount of stuff that I think is involved here now after seeing certain things and things that they did just to take out the whole like the storytelling and stuff. I'm like, it's a grown adults making up this stuff like that, like, and then not allowing other people to tell their story. Like, I don't agree with that. And that's the legal system. That's the representation of the legal system in Westmoreland County Courthouse. I'm not even going to say the rest of Pennsylvania. I'm going to keep it to Westmoreland County Courthouse. Um, yeah, I tried Googling this and I'm just, yes, it's like, no, I don't get it. I don't know. Even incognito Google just to see if I could get something different. That is a valid point. V1, every action is a reaction. And this one was, woo, yes, it was. I'm glad you mentioned this. So the index is part of the transcripts you got from your husband's trial. Yes, the index was the first thing that you get. Like it's a envelope, and it had on there concordance index. But I when I looked at it the first time, I was like, "What is this?" It didn't make no sense to me, so I just put it back. I just put that one back in the folder and just went to day one. So then after I went to day one and came back, I said, okay, now um, I have to do the scan. So I said, okay, let me start with this. So then I'm looking at it, I'm like, and what is this? Like, it's not making no sense to me. So then I said, okay, let me look it up so I can be able to, because I'm going to start with this because this was at the front of everything, right? It even got a little concordance C number and stuff like that on it. But and it still doesn't make no sense. So I'm gonna show the video. It's only like 6 minutes. And let's see. After the video, let's see if we're gonna understand why this is something that's used in a court trial. Oh, you know what? This helps.
Actually, let's talk about one more goodie, which is the AUC. Remember, we saw the AUC for class data, classification data, is the area under the curve. It's a very useful measure of the accuracy of a classifier. Well, it turns out for survival analysis, there's something called the C index, which gives you a nice analogy to AUC. It's an appealing method for assessing a fitted Cox model on a test set, or actually any survival model, but we'll show it here for Cox model. So what do we do? Well, we calculate the estimated risk score for each patient from the Cox model. So just like the publication data, for example, we got coefficients, and for each individual, or in that case, each study, we calculate the estimated risk score, called eta hat of I. I is indexing an observation. And it was called the C-index, or Harrell. Frank Harrell was the inventor of this concordance index. Computes the proportion of pairs for which essentially the model gets the order of the observations right. So what we're doing here is this is on a test set. So for each test observation, we compute the predicted risk, and we compute this. Think of any two pair of individuals or studies. One had a longer event time than the other. And for those observations, for the model to be correct, we'd like the risk for the patient who lived longer to have to be lower, right? Because lower risk means you live longer. So this essentially says this is the proportion of pairs that we get in the right order among those whose order we know. Now that's kind of a mouthful, but let me parse this. So among all observations for which yi is greater than yi prime, so the survival time for patient I was greater than that for yi prime, this is the proportion for which the risk for I prime was estimated to be greater than that for I. So that this is correct, right? If the survival is longer, we want the risk of the patient who lived shorter to be larger, times delta I. The delta I is doing here because for some patients, for example, we can't determine in the test set which one survived longer. If, for example, one patient was censored at 9 months, the other patient died at 10 months, we don't know who lived longer, right? Because the one who censored 9 months could have lived past 10 months. So only certain pairs can we actually determine which event occurred first.
So we only count up over those
Right.
that we can compare.
Right. So again, it's
Something you need to digest in your...
Yeah. But it's trying to make use of the censoring observations whenever they have information that we can use, basically. So yeah, so I say it in a nutshell, it's the proportion of pairs for which the model correctly predicts the relative survival time among all pairs for which this can be determined. So again, you sort of have to parse the notation, but that's the flavor of it. And for the publication data, we computed the C-index, and it gave 0.773. It's over a test set, remember. So roughly speaking, it means that the model can predict with 73.3% accuracy which paper of a pair of papers will be published first. So it's got an interpretation very much like the AUC in classification.
It's very popular.
Yeah. Okay, so that's basically it. We're just going to wrap up with some topics which are in the text if you're interested in pursuing them. The censoring we talked about is actually the censoring on the right. But there's other kinds of censoring. There's left and interval censoring, which with the information you get on a patient is not just truncation or censoring on the right, but it can occur other times during the study. And the models we've seen, actually all the statistics we've talked about, survival curves, log rank tests, Cox's model, can all deal with left and interval censoring, other kinds of censoring. Sometimes the choice of time scale is interesting. Normally one uses calendar time, but if you're looking at a patient's age and how their age affects their survival, you might index time by age and other things. So this is a topic that comes up sometimes. Time-dependent covariates are something which are somewhat unique to this area. In all the examples we've seen, and most examples actually in regression, right, you measure covariates or regressors once for an individual, and they're fixed, they're a static thing. But in some survival studies, you follow patients in time and you measure things like their blood pressure at different time points. So maybe it's a 5-year study and you see them every month. Well, at the beginning, you get their blood pressure, but every month you measure their blood pressure. And another very nice feature of the Cox's model is that it can capture the effect of the time-varying covariate, which you measure.
Because remember in those risk sets, an observation would be in several risk sets as we're moving along in time.
Yeah.
And their contribution to the risk set involves their features. Well, if their blood pressure has been increasing, that should be reflected in future times we see them in the risk sets.
And it turns out to be particularly easy in Cox's model because it's sort of a sequential in time construction. You just use the current value of X of the feature at a given risk, and it's really quite easy. But there's a lot of very nice statistical theory that's been developed with Cox's model and time-dependent covariates. And then we talk a bit about checking the proportional hazards assumption, which is important. Other things we talk about in the book briefly, we've talked really about Cox's proportional hazards model, which is a linear regression analog for survival data. But some of the other learning methods we talked about in the course, random forest, boosting, and neural networks, have their own ways of dealing with survival data, some of which avoid the proportional hazards assumption. So these are becoming more and more popular and are really currently under development. Finally, mentioned Terry Thurnell, the author of the Survivor Package. So let's talk about software. Well, the examples in this chapter were all done using Terry's Survival Package as well as the GlibNet package in R. And both these can handle some of the things we just talked about. Well, all the things we talked about, plus time-dependent covariates, other forms of censoring. And there's other software in other languages, of course. Well, there's other software in R, the models, other kinds of survival models, and also in Python, in the scikit survival Python collection, and in other places. Okay.
So, and that was the most detailed one that describes to you what the concordance index is. It does, right? So I'm pretty sure that answered everybody's question, right? You know what? Because y'all sitting there looking like, no, it didn't. That still is talking about patients like hospital-wise. And even no matter what you do, it does not fit. So now I'm like, that they wasted. I can't break it down. I mean, I broke it down as much as I could. And because what he was saying is like you use it. So what he's using it is in patient setting over a long term of whatever he was measuring, right? Because that's what you do. And you use the same people. Like, so they couldn't even use the concordance for my husband because he would have had to have, like, say if they want to determine, okay, what's his probability of this and how long, they had nothing to go off of because he was not one of their career criminal peoples. The only thing that I could think of is they put the other boy information in under my husband and put it in and manipulated that together. That's the only thing that I could think of. But otherwise, they couldn't even have enough information to put him statistically, to verify, to even build an index with his record. It would have been like 2 pages. You know what I'm saying? But then with all those other, and that's what I think I need to find out, because all of those numbers on there, those might be little different laws that they use to twist and turn this around. So it has to be helpful to us for something, even though I feel like it's a waste of time. It was a waste of time, but it probably will give us a better record of what they did to manipulate to get the verdict to be what it was. Because I feel like that was like part of it. Like they know what the ratio of his lawyer's name, and did they know the ratio of all the cases that he had already lost, what mind frame he was in, that he wasn't going to be able to ask the right questions, and he wasn't going to put in this right? Did they know all of that? Like, did they put, because medically, the only person who medically had anything going on was the lawyer. So were they looking at, okay, if he's at this stage of his illness, what's the probability that he's still able to do a case in the rightful way? You know, as we see, if that's the case, the probability is 0 because he didn't even do a good job. You know, yeah. So it just that's my question. Like, what I need to know. What would that be used? And I don't want to know. I want to know from somebody from someplace else. The other states, is this part of the trial in other states? I want to know before I say this is probably just some shenanigans that they got going on here. But I just want to know, is this something, what is it for? Is it necessary? How is it measured? Because if we can prove that, however you get to the measurement of this, my husband couldn't even fit under the factor of it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're in criminal law, like, he's not a criminal. You don't have a ticket, an open container, and a jump in the turnstile to self-defense. But they don't even want to look at it as a self-defense. So honestly, this has been like a difficult week because the letter that I spoke to you guys before that supposed came and then it kept getting turned back. It finally got to my husband, right? So in my mind, when I spoke to the lawyer, I already processed that out and stuff like that, right? So that, okay, this is what happened, this is what got to be done next, and this and this. And so I had moved forward past it, you know. But when he received the letter this week, he received the letter like he didn't know nothing about this was going on. This is something different. Like was like he just straight panic mode. When he called me, it was just a straight panic conversation. And I'm like, all right, but we knew this. Remember, like such and such and such. And he was like, I can't talk to you right now. Da, 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 da. And then he's like, then he called 10 minutes later, he called me back. Still in panic mode. It took about 5 callbacks to like actually get him to like calm down, like, hey, we knew this already. You know what I'm saying? So it was like finally when he like realized like, okay, yeah, we did know this. That's why we had to take the other step, whatever. But then at the same time, I understand like when you in there, you ain't got nothing, and then you see this, and then you thinking like, oh, you know, he probably was thinking that it was from the last thing. No, this is from the thing that they couldn't get to you in time enough, which I told them they were probably trying not to get to him in time enough, because you cannot tell me, you know, something with the information, like if you sit down and file, if a person go down and file a complaint on the Westmoreland County Public Defender's Office, right, in a real way, they should be shut down if they are a real business, because they can't get nothing in on time. They can't communicate with their clients as lawyers. They don't know how to mail documents to the people they represent in jail. Like, what the heck are they open for? You know, like if it was actually, they actually were measured by how they work and it was other people, like say if it was a whole nother team of lawyers in competition with being the public defenders, you know, and they actually work the case, they would been like beat them out. Maybe that's something they should come up with, and then everybody will get serious about their work. You know, sometimes you gotta light a fire under some people, and then they can start thinking correctly. I feel like I'm talking too much. Am I talking too much? That's funny because I don't really be talking like that, but I guess I'm talking, right? But I am trying to. That's pretty much. I showed you guys the video. You guys understood the video just as much as I did. Because it all just makes no sense. But I'm still working on things. I have 4 pages, and it literally wouldn't even let me put the 4 pages that I did. Well, it was 2 was the concordance. But I said these it couldn't have been that big. because it was just like a PDF. Like, oh, but it came in like a photo, so that's what made the difference. So that's definitely what I've been working on it like every week, but that's definitely what I've been still working on this week. So that, because this was part one of the transcripts anyway, and I will, let's see, say you're educating us so we have a better understanding of your husband case. Yes. And you know that you're going to have a better understanding, but at the same time, the certain things that you guys say, it helped my brain like function to think of, okay, oh, let me check this out, like whatever I didn't think to do, and then I get the feedback from you guys, and then you guys help me with that. Like that is like, it's all like appreciated, you know, because it really helps me to actually go through the process, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure I was expecting, because I surprise myself sometimes. I'll be like, that, you know, I'm really been out here this long, like without him, like, you know what I'm saying? That's my like partner, you know. So it's just, I gotta figure this out. But I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate y'all coming to the show. And I will see you guys. So in the morning, of course, I'm streaming in the morning. And we're going to get a good service. And it's going to be positive. And we're going to do I don't know what with it for the rest of the week. But I'm thankful, you know. Everything, all of this going on, you know what I'm saying? I'm thankful, you know, because things could have been like, I could have been mourning them, you know, and I'm not. So I know that there's like some growth that needed to happen and everything like that. And that's what's happening. And I'm going to continue going if the Holy Spirit leaded me. And that's what I'm going to do, you know. I appreciate you guys coming through and listening to me ramble on. Yeah. So have a good night and see you guys tomorrow in church. Unless one of you guys are going to do a show or a stream or something, let me know, because I'm up for it. Because I'm not sleepy right now, but thank you. All right. See, crazy. Yeah, doing great. Thank you. And I will see you guys at church.
Everybody come through it. Hey. I got dominion. I got authority in the kingdom. Got everything I need. Everybody come through it. Hey. I got dominion. I got authority in the kingdom. Got everything I need. Everybody come through it. Hey. I got dominion. I got authority in the kingdom, got everything I need. Everybody come through it. Hey. I got dominion, I got authority in the kingdom, got everything I need.